strong side from Ten Hag. Exactly what we need. We need to stifle them, make it boring, right? You're playing on aggregate. This is the kind of style of play when you have a lead. Let's not go attack, and give up a bunch of goals. It had to be boring. It should have been boring, but I don't care. We're going to Wembley. We're the famous Manchester United, and we're going to Wembley, and we're competing for a trophy. And if you remember, the last final we went to, Gdansk, Europa League. So
do we win? Do we win that one? Do we win that one? I don't remember. Was it like a resounding victory against lowly Villarreal? I forget what happened.
No, but like this is the way it works when you're a fan of a club like Manchester United. We got some bad juju, and that bad juju is De Gea missing the penalty and us losing to a side we clearly should have beat in the Yellow Submarine and Unai Emery, Count Chocula. It's just something that's a dark cloud hanging over us, and we got to punch on through the other side. And the only way to do that is lifting the next trophy, burying that cup final as it should be. And until we do, we're on a bad cup final streak. And I'm a little nervous coming in. Newcastle is rejuvenated. They have a great defense. Pope in net, arguably one of the signings of the summer coming into Newcastle. Your boy Eddie Howe doing a great job with the Bonesaw FC. It's not going to be easy final.
No.
It's going to be hard fought. We're going to need Rashford to be on form. We're going to be playing without Christian Eriksen. Zabitza coming in. Hopefully he can pull some magic for United. We have a few weeks before this final, but a little nervy because Ten Hag wins this. It's a huge deal. Eddie Howe wins this. It's a huge deal. Both these teams are looking for this trophy. It is going to be a very hard-fought match, and it's going to be one of those that's going to have you on your edge of your seat because Bonesaw wants that trophy. United are dying for a trophy. This podcast is dying for a trophy. So I'm pumped up for the final. A little nervous because that ghost of Villarreal past is still in my memory and the horrible way we lost. So I'm a little nervy, but pumped. We're in good form. On to Wembley.
On to Wembley, sir. We just got the email from Manchester United ticketing and membership to get your applications in now. If you've bought all of the home cup games this season, which the American Red Devils certainly have, the game is being played on Sunday, the 26th of February, 4:30 local time. So that will be 8:30 on the West Coast, 11:30 on the East Coast. And the big story is, of course, first time Newcastle are in even a cup tie since 99. In 99, they lost to the mighty Manchester United in the FA Cup as we went on to win the historic treble. But that being said, it's a different Newcastle. It's not your brother's Newcastle. It's maybe your grandmother's Newcastle because obviously they got deep pocketbooks. They have a solid manager and they are spending real money and they have a solid defense like you mentioned. And at the moment, they're above us in the Premier League. So it's going to be a hard-fought final, and the big concern for me, I think on our day we're a better team than Newcastle. Maybe they've got a little bit more momentum at the moment, but we've got a better 11 even with Eriksen out. It's the matches. If you look at the schedule from now until the end of this month when the final goes down, they have 3 matches. They're not in any other cup competitions, and we've got a game every 3 days. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. The thing is, if we have injuries, we just have no margin for error, right? So you lose a Bruno, you lose a Rashford, you lose a Martinez, you lose a Casemiro. We could be in real trouble. Obviously, losing Eriksen for the rest of the season. Double shout out, fuck Andy Carroll. That's the challenge. But at the same time, this manager, he was throwing things in the hopper today, sir. We brought on Sancho. He was playing at number 10. He brought in Lindelof. He was playing at CDM. So he knows he has guys back against the wall in terms of options. He likes to start a very strong squad. He did so today. I think that was the right move because he just never gave Forest even a chance to get in the game. And then you rotate like he did. But either way, sir, there's a lot to be excited about.
Didn't you have Tom Heaton in the net in your predicted 11 here?
Yeah, exactly. Nailed it. Yeah. And he made a good save in the second half. Didn't have much to do, really. But had a decent save in the first half. Was right at him. Second half was an actual save. And looks, a decent backup if you need him. But I don't know how many more games he's going to get given we've got West Ham in the FA Cup. Next round of the Europa League is Barcelona, of course, coming up the week after next. And then The next EFL game is, of course, the final. He's not going to be starting for that. But either way, sir, a lot to be excited about. We also closed the January transfer window with the double bad news of Eriksson. Like, I didn't think we were going to get anybody. So to get a player of a caliber of that we got, I'm excited because you know what?
It's a loan. Like, it's not like a get. It's like a loan.
Well, you have him. He's going to play. He's going to play on this weekend.
Like 6-month loan. I mean,
just like a loan João Felix, right? They have him on the team.
Just
even
like
if they won't play him.
Look, man. Glazer's out.
Well said.
Glazer's out all day. You look at what Chelsea's doing. You look at what Arsenal's doing. And it's like Arsenal's strengthening from a strong position. Chelsea's throwing everything in the kitchen sink at it. I actually think that's probably a bad strategy. But United, we have clear gaps in our team. There's quality out there. There's deals to be done, and we're just holding it. It makes no sense why we're hanging around. Obviously, from the sale perspective, it could, because the Glazers just want to do absolutely nothing until they leave the club, which is probably what they're going to do. And the best we could hope for would be a 6-month loan. But there's areas we need to strengthen, and we're not. And those areas, like you talked about the fixtures we have to play, that is a no-joke schedule. There's things Manchester United can win, and our ownership is literally dormant on the sideline doing nothing. So it's sad to see, but we all know it's #Glazers out all day, every day. Another reason to wear the green and gold until they gone. Quick PSA for the podcast. If you like the American Red Devils, we are for fans, by fans, no ads. Selling shavers or absolutely nothing on this podcast. We just sell the Muppet takes, the biased fan take for the greatest club in all the world, Manchester United. And if you want to support us directly, that's the best way you can is via Patreon, patreon.com/American Red Devils. Check it out. Tons of benefits. We drop an extra podcast every single month. You can pledge anything from $1 and up. Please check out our Patreon page and support independent fan content. Also check out our website, AmericanRedDevils.com, for all the latest Muppet news. Check out our store, AmericanRedDevils.store. We have our 65th anniversary of the Munich air disaster, our commemorative scarf, which is unbelievable. It's almost sold out. The anniversary of the Munich air disaster is coming up next week. That is a huge part of Manchester United's history and why we are the largest club in the world. The 1968 European Cup, lifting that trophy 10 years on after the horrible crash in Munich. So please check out the scarf. It remembers Munich, and obviously we're going to be thinking a lot about that and our rich history over the next week. Also, sir, tell about iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews or 5-star reviews of the American Red Devil podcast. Wherever you listen, it's a great way to support the pod. It helps us get found organically by other top Muppets like yourself. And even better, we have a extra special giveaway right now. If you do a 5-star review and send a screenshot in, we are giving away a free Glazer Out scarf anywhere in the world. All you have to do is write that 5-star review, send a screenshot to AmericanRedDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I will personally pick, pack, and ship a free American Red Devil design Glazer Out scarf, send it right to your door. Get them while they're hot. They are flying off the shelf. And you know what? They are quite a peach of a scarf. Speaking of 5-star reviews, here's a great one from SFG Rico. Solid show. I've listened to these guys for years and look forward to hearing them on the squad week in, week out. They definitely improve with time and still have room for improvement, but I appreciate the efforts and consistency. Keep it up, fellas. American Red Devils, SF, Red Army represent. Appreciate you, SFG Rico. We are always trying to improve, always trying to get better, always trying to not slap our knees too much, sir. Remote pods, illnesses, babies, jobs. We've seen it all. We've done it all, American Devils. The only thing we haven't seen is silverware. Started this pod in the summer of 2017. Keep me honest, sir. I think that was it. After we lifted 2 pieces of silverware with Jose Mourinho, and it's been drought city ever since. It's been dry as a bone. But
hey, we got a cup coming up.
I know.
We gotta, always got to be optimistic.
120 minutes
here.
at Gdansk. I'm thinking we're going to end that streak in less than a month. I'm excited about the final. I wish I could go, but
I think it's going to be. I mean, a lot of United fans and the Muppets are like, Newcastle, whatever. It's going to be a very, very tough game. I think it's literally a coin toss. And that's like an exciting final. We're not playing Villarreal slam dunk, no brainer, like going to win that one. We're not playing that team. We're playing a strong competitor, someone who's going to be fighting up that table over the next decade. and we're going to need to lay our stake into the ground and hopefully into their heart. But before we get there, let's talk about the semifinal. Manchester United 2, Nottingham Forest 0. It was 5-0 on aggregate. We came home to Old Trafford to finish the deed. It was leg 2. Let's get into that lineup from Erik ten Hag. We had Tom Heaton in net, Luke Shaw, Martinez, Varane, Wan-Bissaka at right back, Fred Casemiro at midfield, Bruno Fernandes, Garnacho, Wout, and Antony up top. What did you make of the starting 11?
Well, I certainly got it wrong. When do I don't? When do I not get it wrong? But you know what? Erik ten Hag, keeping up the tradition of starting a strong 11. This fixture, this cup tie wasn't settled by any means, and he made sure to close it out. So Heaton getting a run out. That was good to see. Shaw back in the mix. That's nice to see after he went down with an illness. Varane hasn't played in a while, I think over 10 days. Obviously, you miss Eriksen in the midfield. And Rashford, most importantly, finally gets a blow. One of our most important players gets a rest. That you like to see. So a little bit of rotation, but not much from the manager. What did you think when you saw the starting 11, sir?
I thought it was a great 11. You look at the midfield, Fred comes in for Eriksen, and then, rotate the attack with Garnacho. Obviously, you have Wout, who's undroppable there, and Antony, but the back line's got to be strong. We got to focus on not conceding. I think that was very prudent from the manager. I saw some chatter in the Twitterverse. People wanted more rotation, but look, it's about just shoring it up, getting the job done, which we did. Jumping into the first half, United dominated possession, a bit sloppy in the final third. Obviously, we had some rotation there, but we were in control, and I think that was the game plan from the manager. 17th minute, Garnacho goes down in the box after a challenge. No penalty here. This was 50-50 at best. What'd you make of this call?
Yeah, I mean, this one is less egregious than the handball that comes up a little later. There were just a couple calls that were borderline. You've seen in other games. I mean, we weren't too fussed because the tie was settled at this point, but the Wout Weghorst one at the end of the first, I mean, that was a penalty, but whatever, man. VAR goes with you, VAR goes against you. That is just the way the game goes.
Whatever, man. 28th minute handball.
You can tell we're going to a final, right? You can tell how not fussed I am.
Yeah, handball in the 28th minute again, not getting the call. I'm not going to whine about the referees here. The refereeing in the Premier League or even by the FA here in the EFL Cup, it's been all over the board in England, so I'm not going to complain too much. 30th minute, Casemiro tests the keeper from a header resulting from a free kick for United's first real chance of the game. Casemiro looked amazing as usual. 34th minute, Heaton is forced into a save as United was a bit sloppy with the ball. 38th minute, Antony just goes over with a left foot ripper again. I liked Antony playing the 1-2s inside, but just not enough from him for that price tag. I'm waiting for it. I mean, you look at the Forest game, this is a perfect game for him to let loose and just not really creating the sparks on the right-hand side of the pitch you would expect. And Sanchez getting healthy, so hopefully that'll light a fire under him.
What is that? Is it John from America Devils or Craig Burley? That's all Craig Burley talked about was how much Antony cost, how rubbish Sancho was, how fat Steve Bruce was when he was like 100x the player that fucking Craig Burley.
How dare you? He didn't look. He does not look like he is creating a dynamic attack on the right hand side of the field.
No, he didn't.
When he comes in and passes
Garnacho.
1-2 with Bruno, he can pass it 1-2 with Bruno. Okay, like that looks good. It can kind of get in some dangerous areas. But like you look at Garnacho, like relentless running at defenders, like backing them up, in and out, crossing. I just like. There you go. I mean, it's this very stark difference, but I'm just waiting for Antony to sort of sort it out or make some changes. You got to give him time, but he's getting a lot of minutes and not doing a lot with them. It has to be said.
He's getting a lot of starts.
Guy.
He's getting a lot of starts.
I'm a biased Muppet. I want him to come good, but like my eyes are seeing it, and I'm like, you need more from him. You need more.
No, I can't argue that. I'm just busting your balls a little bit because that's all Craig Burley would talk about.
But I saw the spin move. I mean, I got that.
Second minute spin move. Like you said, compared to Garnacho, who's always willing to attack the defender in front of him, you certainly miss out on that with Antony. I'm hopeful he'll get there. I don't know if he'll ever lift to 85 million pounds. Is quite a number. But one thing that you harped on last pod, which I think is an important thing to mention, is he has had no real competition in the right wing with Sancho out for the last it's 4 months now, since October. And now he's back in the fold. And that, I think, will be good for him because when you get settled into your way and your position is just, you have it, that leaves room for complacency, even for a new player. And I think hopefully give him a full year and also some competition with Sancho, like going for a spot. Hopefully that helps get the most out of him.
Absolutely. 43rd minute, Forest player hits his own teammate in the 6-yard box as United get caught out from a throw again. 45th minute, Weghorst hits the post after Casemiro puts in a peach of a ball. Should have scored. Wow. Getting close. That was the first half. What'd you make of it?
We could have played better, could have gotten a goal or two. Certainly, I think the most concerning thing was United got caught out twice from throw-ins, one being like a really good chance in the 43rd minute where they could have scored, which you don't like to see because we were a little complacent, a little just like going through the motions. But you know what? That happens with this United side, and Erik ten Hag has to just yell at his boys during halftime because they certainly picked it up tempo-wise a little bit in the second half.
Jumping in, we were in cruise control in the second half. Weghorst in the 56th minute was dragged down in the box after winning the ball back. No call, but clear pen. I don't know. Maybe there's a height limit on dropping a penalty there, sir.
He is tall. I'll tell you what. When he lacks in finishing, he makes up for in height.
And just overall, lack of pace. But 61st minute, Garnacho has a nice shot. Saved by the keeper. Garnacho's a firecracker. Absolutely love the kid getting minutes here. He's really something and going to be a big-time player for Manchester United. And that's why it's great to see this season because you're like, look at the left wing. Rashford, Garnacho, that's shored up.
Yep.
Number 9, wow. Martial, that's not. And then the right wing, Sancho, Anthony, that's not finished for Manchester United. I mean, well, you have Ahmad, Facundo, right? So should be able to find somebody to do the job on the right wing for United. We're just not kind of seeing it. But, man, the left side just looks like to be strong side.
100%. And then doubled by the fact that you have Luke Shaw back in the fold. He looked good. He linked up well with Garnacho. I have to say, shout out, hats off to AWB, who has, I think, played really, really well since Delo went down with an injury since the World Cup. I think he's been terrific and continues to impress. I don't, whether or not he's the guy long term, I just think he offers so much. He's such a good tackler, right? He saved the 1 point down in Selhurst Park early in the season, only a couple of weeks ago, with that last minute tackle on Zaha. And there's only a few players in our team that can actually make that kind of tackle and challenge against the Zaha. Dude, he looks useful. He's a good player. I was watching a bunch of old games last night, futzing around on the TV with the old lady, and his build up in the City second goal, he was immense. He's been playing well. He's looked like, not quite a $50 million fullback, but like a $30 million fullback. He looks like he can do a job both going forward as well as going back. So shout out to AWB.
So you call the wife old lady?
Yeah, well, she doesn't listen to the pod, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure she'd love it. Call her that to her face.
Not once.
You'd be sleeping over at my house.
Yeah, there you go. Sleeping in the garage in the pod room.
Yeah. Look, on AWB, all I'm going to say is that I do think my criticism of Anthony is probably unfair because when Delo is playing and getting forward, it opens up for him. And AWB, as well as he's done for Manchester United, he does not do that job well going forward. You look at Delo, and it's a whole nother dimension to our attack. But obviously, he's a world-class defender, and if you're playing big size and you need big tackles, there's no one better than AWB, and he is doing a job. But if you think about it from why is the left so strong with Luke Shaw, Malacia getting forward much more, it's the right wing's kind of maybe suffering from not having Delo. So that's why you need to evaluate it over a whole season. 62nd minute, we were in control here. The triple sub, Rashford, Sancho is back, Martial's back for Garnacho, Anthony, and Wout. Love this triple sub, and they would make a difference soon. 66th minute, Casemiro just wide with a header from a corner. 67th minute, Casemiro with another nice chance, just not enough power on it. And in the 73rd minute, welcome back, Tony Martial.
Martial, numbers here for Manchester United. It's Rashford, and he was a little undersold by the pass, but Martial finishes it off and punches Manchester United's ticket to the League Cup final at Wembley.
Sir Tony Martial gets a little bit lucky, should have done better with the pass on the break to Rashford to get him a goal. It bounced back. The ball bounced back to him fortuitously, and he finishes nicely, to be fair. You know what? You need a little bit of that as you're getting back up to form. He hasn't played in a while, so good on Tony Martial, poking it home and getting himself a goal.
Came from France, English press. They had no chance. 50 million down the drain. Tony Martial scores again. 76th minute. Rashford to Fred connect. Who would have thought Fred actually off the mark for United scoring here in the second half of the season? What do you make of Fred with the goal?
Fred is red.
Sancho's pass. Bruno Fernandes outside of the boots. Rashford and in off the shin of Fred.
I mean, what a ball from Bruno Fernandes across goal to find Marcus Rashford in the first place. He does well, pushes it over across the box, and Fred just slams it home. Nice goal. Nice all-around goal. It was a totally different performance from Manchester United once that front three was in. Like Rashford, Sancho, and Martial, like now we're talking that is a proper front three, and you love to see it. So good on Fred, taking the most of his opportunity, get another chance. He, with Sabitzer, him, they're going to be fighting for that spot that Eriksen has filled. It's probably going to be dependent on form and who they're playing against. But he keeps scoring goals, which is shocking me, but good for him. Nice goal, nice team goal, and job done. We're headed to London, buddy. Let's go to Wembley.
All right, finishing up the match, double sub Maguire and Lindelof for Casemiro and Varane. Just shoring things up, getting people on the bench. 82nd minute, Heaton with a nice save. United were caught in the break here, and Heaton, I thought I saw De Gea here for a second. In 86, Bruno goes just wide. That was it. United win 2-0, 5-0 on aggregate. Absolutely smoking Nottingham Forest, and Jesse Lingard was so scared. Dropped out of the starting 11 before the game. Manchester United stat sheet, 13 shots to Forest, 5. 6 on target to their 3, 74% of the ball at home. Dominant performance from Manchester United, something we've been accustomed to seeing under Erik ten Hag. Dominance on the score sheet, dominance on the pitch. And Manchester United become the second side to reach 10 English League Cup finals after the Scouse Bastards, who have 13. Marcus Rashford has been involved in 25 goals in all comps. Second highest tally after Erling Haaland, who obviously should be a Red. And Manchester United face Newcastle in the EFL Cup on February 26th for the first time the two clubs have met in a final since the 1999 FA Cup, where again Manchester United would be victors. What do we know? Let's check in with the manager, Erik ten Hag.
Here we go.
Of course, when you win this round, win the semi-final, go to the final, it's okay. And first half, it wasn't great. Be honest, I think it was professional how we played, but tempo was too low, too slow, and we didn't create chances, and we allowed them 2 good chances. So that must not happen. But I think second half was better, more tempo, and then also I think we made some good goals. Of course.
And one more from him.
Frustrated, that's a big word. I don't think frustrated, but you played, I think many such games, you also have to be a little bit smart. Don't go and they set up a trap, don't dive in, don't give anything away, because at a certain point they have to come if they want to come back in the game. So keep the ball, keep passing around, but I think we should have done more in investment, like movements behind, like quick switches, things like that, and we didn't create that. Frustrated.
Apologies, we're doing a little bit piecemeal on the manager's presser. It's straight off Twitter, given that we just wrapped the game. But Erik ten Hag, he ain't never satisfied, even with a 2-0, 5-0 on aggregate. Talking about giving them opportunities in the first half, a little sloppy, didn't make the most of opportunities, but either way, on to Wembley. Hard man to please. He sees it all, and I didn't play it, but it was a funny moment after the fact when Roy Keane asked if he could like hook him up with some tickets to the Cup final, which you just like to see. Roy Keane in a good mood makes me in a good mood, sir.
Manchester United going to Cup final should put Roy Keane in a good mood, because that's what he's all about. But sir, we got next match It's back to reality, sir. Crystal Palace, Old Trafford, Premier League, baby. This is what it's all about. Remember, we were fighting for the title, and then we bottled it against Crystal Palace, and then we bottled it against Arsenal. Yep, that's what happened.
We
last
weren't fighting
time
for the title, bro. Come on.
We were
Delusional.
for like 2 days. We were.
Yeah, like we did under Ole.
Hey.
Like we did under Ole. Yeah, totally.
Hey, it's called punching.
With our one striker, without
punching for 2
Weghorst
days,
as like our one fit striker, the guy who like.
Yeah, if like we beat Palace and if we drew Arsenal, we're in it. We were in it. We obviously didn't snatch it from the claws of destiny or whatever the phrase would be there. But it's one of those where the next best thing you could do, revenge, and absolutely batter Palace at home. It's what we need. It's going to be Saturday, February 4th, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. Lifetime versus Palace. We've won 39, drawn 13, lost 10. First time we ever played them, 1922. We beat them 2-1 in the second division of English football. Last 5, we're all over the place with Palace. We've drawn twice, lost twice, and we won once. Last time we beat them, December 5th, 2021. Last time we played them, we drew 1-1. Crystal Palace, sir, for some reason, we're just not showing up against Palace. South London's number 1.
Not your grandmother's Palace. They're a different team under Patrick Vieira. They're a well-trained team. They recruit well. Zaha is playing good football, and you know what? I think we should have done better in that game a couple of weeks ago, like you said, that trap game in between City and Arsenal. But as you mentioned, we've got 3 important league games in basically a week. We got Palace, then Leeds twice, and it's about picking up as many points as possible. So forget titles. It's about finishing top 4. Finishing the top 4, winning a piece of silverware, which would still be a great achievement, even though we've started so strong this season, given where the squad's at today, the lack of real investment made in January. Those are both loan deals, obviously. 3, I guess.
Give me a break with the excuse factory here. Come on.
Well, this guy's talking about titles. I'm trying to bring you back to reality. I'm trying to bring you back to reality.
All of a sudden, like mid Crystal Palace preview, you just gearing up.
This guy's like, "Oh, we missed out on the title. Like we were in the title race, guy. Come on, like we used to. We were going to finish 7th or 8th.
We were.
We were not in the title race.
You want me to show you the math?
You don't need to explain math to me. I got it.
If we beat Palace, we were in it.
Yeah, sure.
We beat Palace and we draw Arsenal, we're in it. Yeah.
Who's our starting striker in that game? Where was he playing before?
Yeah, I concur, and that's why the Glazers got to go. But right. Palace coming in. They're strong. Other than the big Tottenham loss in early Jan, they lost 4-0 to Tottenham. Southampton pipped them January 7th. Chelsea beat them January 15th, but then they drew us, and they drew Newcastle, and obviously Newcastle is in good form. So 2 big draws against 2 big sides in the Premier League. Before that, they were kind of getting clapped upside the head. This is a big one for us. It is a must win. You got to start. Set the record straight. You got to nip it in the bud. You got to go for the 3 points. It's at home. It's Crystal Palace. It is Patrick Vieira on the touchline. He is going to get them up for it. But we got to really, this is a set the tone type of match. After these 3, cup games, Nottingham Forest, Reading, etc. This game is the game I want to win. Big time, Saturday, early morning. Let's go.
100%. 100%. We have some really important league games coming up over the next 4 to 6 weeks. Many of them are winnable. This is a winnable one at home. Going to be easier than playing a night game at Selhurst Park. And minus Eriksen, Shaw's back in the mix. Rashford's fit and firing. Casemiro's the best midfielder in the league. I got a hell of a back 4. Sorry, that's the opposite excuse factory. I'm leaning in, baby. We're going to beat up the Eagles at home. Let's get a result because you'd also like to be able to rotate. You'd also like to mix the squad up a little bit, given that he's going to go full guns blazing as he should on this Saturday. But can't wait, sir. South London's number 1. Let's send him back to reality.
Haven't won a trophy in like 5 seasons, and people are making excuses for Manchester United. They smoking?
How many pods have we done? It's like a 430 pods, yeah, exactly. 0 silverware.
Yeah, as far as like, there is no excuse. We need to win. Crystal Palace played the 4-2-3-1. Zaha features. You can ask Ed Woodward why there's no buyback clause in that contract. when we sold him to a team in the EPL.
3 million pounds.
Unbelievable. You're going to get used to IU. They have some schlupp in the midfield. Decore, they're tricky. And coming at home, I'm not worried. You look at our defense, you look at Rashford, you look at how hot everyone is playing. Martial coming back into form, like we should easily be beating them. But it's one of those mental blocks, like you said, with the recent draw so close. And hopefully that puts a little, piss and vinegar in the boys so they show up for it. Injuries for United, Donny van de Beek. Knee injuries out for the season. Christian Eriksen. We were destined for a big player to go down. Unfortunately, it's Eriksen. And unfortunately, we're going to realize how big a part he played in the Manchester United midfield. I feel like he was sort of didn't get a lot of credit. It wasn't flashy, but he pulled the strings. He did the dirty work. Let's see if Fred can step in for him. Scotty McTominay, he's also out. So our midfield, all of a sudden, injuries, but we got Sabitzer, so hopefully he can come in and do a job. Delo, that thigh injury, that's no good. Luke Shaw's back. Sancho's back. Martial's back. So with the big Eriksen injury, we are getting a boost up front, but then you're looking at our midfield and saying, Casemiro has to play every single game. Given those injuries, what is your lineup?
Sir, I'll go with Dave saves and net. I'm doing back four, AWB, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, same as today. I'm going to do Casemiro. Sabitzer getting thrown right in, buddy. It's probably going to be Fred, but I'm going to go bold and say Sabitzer starts with Bruno.
Fred all day.
I know, but you know what? I'm a Muppet. Here we are. And then up front, it's going to be Rashford, Wout, and Eric Ten Hag's boy, Anthony. Who you got as your starting 11, sir?
Dave saves role number one in net. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, Casemiro, Fred, Bruno, Rashford, Martial, and Jadon Sancho. Yes, I said it. Sancho is going to be starting against Crystal Palace. I hope he can come in right away and play. But either way, I'm excited. It's going to be a big game early Saturday morning, kicking the weekend off. Booking the bookies. What are the odds?
United are the favorites. No surprise there. Minus 260 at home, plus 360 for the draw, and plus 800 for Palace. 8 times your money, so I don't think you'd get these odds if it was Ralph Rangnick as manager. It's a different side under our new Dutchman. Given those the odds, what is your score prediction?
Ooh, you go first.
3-0. United, like you said, we get revenge for those points dropped that took, the what could be's and the if-then scenarios out of our grasp only a couple of weeks ago. And I think Rashford gets another goal. Bruno gets a goal. Maybe Martial or Sancho have their say as well. All right, sir, you're cagey. What you got?
I'm oscillating between 2-1, 1-1. I think we're going to go 1-1. I think we played a lot of strong sides against lower opposition, and I think this is just going to be a step up. I hope we're ready for it. I hope we're not tired, but I'm worried about the midfield. Maybe Fred giving it away. I'm going to say 1-1 to be conservative. Hopefully I'm surprised. You know me, sir. I'm the opposite of the excuse factory,
Yeah, sure. Let's get some news, and then you can come up with your own excuses.
United in the news. January transfer window closed. And boy, did we make it exciting on the last day. Bayern Munich.
Heard of
Marcel Sabitzer. He came into Bayern Munich with Julian Nagelsmann from Leipzig. Didn't really hit his stride at Bayern Munich, but he's a good player. I mean, you look at the stats. Football Ref last year, I mean, non-penalty goals 78th percentile, non-penalty XG 91st percentile, shots 99th percentile, assists 77th percentile, passing. This is like Eriksen's clone. It's like the front office is looking at Football Ref here, but this is a very Eriksen-like player. The difference is, Eriksen had to come in playing more that he was more that attacking midfielder, and he had to play in the 2 with Casemiro. Can Sabitzer do that role like Eriksen has been doing? It's a punt. It's a decent signing. It's better than the Rabiot and his crazy mom. Remember a link to him how long ago? So I'm pumped on this one, but I am going to temper my expectations. It is a 6-month loan. It's not like I don't know if there's option to buy, but it is sort of like a stopgap. It's a coin flip. Is it going to turn out? Is he going to be legendary? There's only one way to find out, and that is at a rainy night in Stoke.
There you go, sir. Like you said, it's a straight loan. There's no obligation or option to buy. So he's a stopgap. Fill the huge hole that is Christian Eriksen for the remainder of the season, because he's basically missing the rest of it. And what a role he's played, Christian Eriksen, that is. He's been so vital in all our build-up. He's second in the Premier League in assists behind what's his name, De Bruyne. So he is just a top contributor. We're going to miss him terribly. But I'm optimistic about this signing. I think it's an astute one. I think it's clearly an Erik ten Hag signing. Even someone that, dare I say, Ralph Rangnick had recommended last January. And, his Bayern run has not been terrific, but that's a hell of a team he's trying to get into. Their midfield is pretty solid, and he's obviously been starved for minutes. And as soon as he got the call, the opportunity to play with Erik ten Hag, he jumped at it. He's going to be looking for a full-time move. Obviously, we're not buying nobody in January because the Glazers are selling the club, and the club is broke. And, they're skipping the dividend. They ain't fucking paying no money out for signing. So that being said, I think this is a higher caliber player than a Wout Weghorst, and a much-needed player because, like I said, we lost Christian Eriksen. Even McTominay's out. We have very few options of players that could play if Bruno needs a rest, and he can play all over. He can play 6, he can play 8, he can play 10. He's got a banger outside the box. He doesn't have necessarily the vision of an Eriksen, and he hasn't played in the EPL, right? Christian Eriksen was obviously EPL proven, but he's done in the Champions League. He did it against Manchester United when we were with Ole, and we fucking blew that huge lead against RB. He was in that side.
Classic. The classic game. What a classic match. I remember
he played very well. He's actually
that bald guy on the left wing. Yeah, I remember him just like destroying us. Like that was horrible. That was like ultimate collapse, ultimate wet noodle Ole FC collapse.
There you go. So
that's like literally. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for bringing that up.
You got any excuses for me? You got any
that one?
You got any excuses for me?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you don't think that's relevant? The club he's played at for 7 years, like where who made his name and he played against us. Yeah, I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up all day.
I'm on blood pressure meds. I don't need that.
Yeah, well, you're rooting for the wrong club.
That was like a horrific game. I'll never
worse than Villarreal. It was as bad. It wasn't as bad as Villarreal. That was especially bad.
We had to play Europa League because of that game, bro.
I'm aware, bro.
It's like, yeah, that hurts. That stings. It was like a guaranteed, whatever. Okay, moving on. Next bit of news here. Mark Ogden, you heard of him, writes for ESPN, talks about players who are offered to the club. Apparently, Pulisic, McKennie, Memphis Depay were also offered. The club did not do any deals there. Weston McKennie goes to Leeds. I mean, that is... As a U.S. men's national team, he's a good player. I almost rate him more than Sabitzer just because he's young. You would have done it permanent. He can do that job in the middle of the park. I really think he was a good value play. I get why Ten Hag probably doesn't rate him because, he's got the Dutch connect and probably sticks his nose up at American players. Pulisic, another one who I believe is going to AC Milan, but that's another one where it's that's a deal. He's a great player. And Depay, strengthening the attack, he could play 9 for us right now. They're just more opportunistic buys we could have made here in the January transfer window. So in the midfield, Zabitzer, I'm fine with that. But it's a stopgap, right? So if you get a McKennie, it's maybe a 4-year situation. And then on the attack, you definitely needed a Depay. You need one more attacking player who could play number 9. And I think Depay could have done it. It's not his natural role, but we could have stuffed him in there in an emergency. If you think of who would you rather have playing striker against Barcelona, Wout or Depay? I mean, clearly the answer is, you were a big Memphis guy when he came in. You thought he was going to score 20 goals. So what do you think?
Well, I don't know. It sounds like you're the real Memphis guy now saying how much we need Memphis Depay when
we need someone.
Facundo Palestra can't get minutes, and now Jadon Sancho's back in the fold.
Number 9, sir. Number 9. I'm talking.
But he's not a number 9. He's a winger, and he could play like okay.
He played 9 for the He played 9 in the Dutch team. Well, they played in a 2. He played in a 2 with Gapco.
Anyway, yeah, I'm not saying we couldn't have taken him, but at the end of the day, they were retroactive or reactive in the decision making around signings in January. It was like we need a striker. Ronaldo left. He's out. He's going to in Saudi Arabia. Can't score a goal for his life. Speaking of over the hill, we get Wout Weghorst. We're not spending any money. Okay, we need a midfielder because Christian Eriksen is gone for the rest of the season. Who could we get? McKennie at this point had already moved, and he's a different position. He's more of like the McTominay, Fred mold, and probably a upgrade at least to McTominay. And Fred, could be better than Fred, of course. But I think Sabitzer will fit in well. But I don't disagree. Like, we could have strengthened more, but so this is like Glazer out, baby. Glazer out. They're on their last legs. They're leaving. They can't not sell the club because they've just hemorrhaged every bit of cash imaginable. But I certainly don't disagree with you that, like, Apuli, he didn't leave, and he's got nowhere to go because how many fucking players did they sign this window? Chelsea, that is. McKennie obviously went to Leeds, and then Depay went to Atletico, I think on a loan. But either way, there are certainly opportunities to even like do what Arsenal did, right? They bought Trossard. They ended up with Jorginho.
€3 million fee to go to.
Maybe that was it. Maybe that was it. We didn't want to pay no fees, bro, because the Sabitzer deal has no fees, and we're broke as a joke.
And also in Barcelona, that's interesting to track. I mean, you also look at relationships between clubs, and it's like something about Barcelona is trying to get players from them. The front offices don't get along. Obviously, we're going to replace everyone in the front office when the Glazers sell, but it's interesting to track because he's the type of player, and look, he's been playing center forward primarily lately, and he's the type of player where like I'd almost go with him or Martial and then bring in Wout for like the hoofball at the end of the game. Like, I mean, the whole idea that you just need another body, assuming Martial can't stay healthy. Now, if Martial can go to the end of the year, into the season, great. But like, he's just another great option, and he was cheap and it was available. And we are in a Champions League run. We do have multiple cups that we're still in. I just think we need to be a little more opportunistic. And this is the bargain bin we're talking about. We're not talking about going out and buying a legit striker. We're talking about getting a 6-month loan for a washed-up Depay, and we're begging for that. That's how desperate we are for bodies just to get in, because Wout, week in, week out, I just don't think you can play Wout. A man of that size and stature playing in 2 games a week, he's going to get injured. He's going to get injured. I would argue that like being tall like that, like you're more likely to be injured. And, he's going to be playing very physically, and he's got those long limbs, like he'll get tangled up somewhere, and, he's going to go down, and then you're going to have him and Martial down, and then you're screwed. It's going to be like the 49ers and NFC Championship type of screwed. And like, I just thought there were bodies out there we could have brought in, but, that's why we were Glazers out here. Speaking of injuries, Eriksen out for 3 months. Absolute heartbreaker here. This one hits hard. Like Mack Truck, Andy Carroll. Like talk about Liverpool. Talk about the Scouse Bastards. Right now, Liverpool's image has kind of been rejuvenated under Jurgen Klopp playing the heavy metal football. That's really Dortmund's identity he brought to the Liverpool. The Scouse Bastards are always dirty players. We grew up with them over the last 20 years. They're dirty. They've always been dirty. They wore the shirts supporting Suarez after he made the racist comments to Patrice Evra. They're just dirty. They're just a dirty bag. The Scouse Bastards, and who picked up on that culture, Andy Carroll. And he is a dirty player, dirty play. 2 horrific challenges. What's amazing is that it only ended up being 2 yellow cards. Should have been a straight red on this one. There's VAR there for a reason. That's the real crime. Is there was a player out there who was looking to injure players, and he wasn't taken off the pitch.
No, 100%, 100%. He wasn't even a has-been. He's a never was. He was like one of the great flops of that era. And he had a really good season for Newcastle. Yeah, and then he flopped. Yeah, and then he went for £35 million after they sold Suarez to Barcelona, and he was fucking dog shit. And he's fucking dog shit, bro. He's a terrible player. And like you said, the real thing that's egregious is that he didn't even get a yellow card on this challenge. He got subsequent yellow cards. I believe Malacia and Casemiro, and he was, if you watch the tape back, bro, he was trying to injure players. He was very clearly trying to injure players. They should have given him retroactive 5-match ban, but of course they won't, because at the end of the day, I talk about it all the time, sir. The officiating via FA, we'll call it just England, bro, is fucking dog shit. It's so all over the place. And the fact that like this guy didn't get a red card straight up, or he's like dangerous play, 5-match ban, yada, yada, yada. It's a shame because EPL's got it all, but that's the one thing it is fucking missing. It's like we got these dunce refs all over the place. It's unbelievable how shit they are. And Andy Carroll, like, fuck you, bro. Enjoy Reading.
No, this is the season for Eriksson. You know, this is
season.
it. Because it's like to get to fitness after this is like it's gonna be too much of a challenge.
Yep.
And what a player, what a signing. You know, we have him for another year, and you know, it's just really sad to see him go down against Reading in the FA Cup. And then again, does that go to Ten Hag being like, hey, are you playing him too much? Do we roll the dice? I do think we're kind of playing strong sides every game, and you know, you get these injuries against teams at 4th round proper against Reading. Is it worth to lose Eriksson because of the 4th round proper in the FA Cup? That's the question from the manager. Obviously, you can't predict the future, but he did play really strong teams in all of these cup games, and now we're heading into like a really thick fixture schedule with like real deal teams like Barcelona, etc.
Well, you don't get into those cup ties and have a lot of fixtures unless you win the cup ties that come before. So I don't.
Yeah, but Reading,
you got to win, bro.
14th in the championship.
But that's a dirty tackle. It's a dirty fucking tackle.
I agree,
Should be a
but like
straight red.
That's when those dirty tackles are going to come. You know, I don't think Barcelona's going to have like leg breaker challenges. You know, I think Reading in the championship is more likely, but you know, hindsight's 2020. Finishing out the January transfer windows, we did some loan deals. Tuanzebe joined Stoke City on loan for the remainder of the season. He's been training with the team. I thought maybe he'd make the bench or Ten Hag would see what he's got, but he loans him out. Charlie Savage joins Forest Green in the Football League, and Shortire joins Bolton on loan. So just the loan watch for the youngsters. Jumping into fan questions at Ty Kircher. Sirs, we're going to Wembley. Job done tonight. Saw it out there like we expected. How does this compare to the semifinal, final appearances under Ole? I feel there's more of a personality and belief in the squad. Going to be a good one. Can't wait till the 26th. How does this compare to the semifinal, final appearances under Ole?
I'll tell you in a month.
I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what I think.
In the first 15 minutes, in the first 15 minutes, that quote from Jose Mourinho, first 15 minutes, you know how the game's going to go.
And that's Jose Mourinho, good and bad. He nailed it with that quote. And the difference is like this team has an identity. This team has characters. This team has dogs in it. And they have a coach who, you know what? Ole was a fucking unbelievable player and a bang average coach. And we have a bang average player that is a top quality coach. He is an unbelievable coach. You can see it in the games, the way he adjusts the formations. And the biggest thing for this season is going to be injuries. And if we can stay healthy, we will win silverware, including this one. I'm confident. It's going to be a tough match. Newcastle are a very good side. They're above us in the EPL. We're playing well. But on our day, I think we should be able to do it with the likes of Rashford, Bruno, Casemiro. It goes on and on. But I just think there's more confidence to the side now. It's like I didn't want to say it was a fluke under Ole. He had some good results, but we have like swag now, and we had no. Even when we were going to finals, even when we showed up to Yellow Submarine, like there was a worry in the team, and that's even beyond his zoot suit that he wore on the touchline.
That's true. The last time we went to the Wembley, and won. I believe we went to Wembley in like the semifinals of the same competition in a year prior. But last time we won at Wembley, Ibrahimovic was the striker. Martial played on the left, Mata in the hole, Lingard on the right, Pogba, Herrera midfield, Rojo, Smalling, Bailly, and Valencia.
EFL final, right? Like under Jose's first season.
Yeah, we won 3-2, and it took a 87th minute winner from Ibrahimovic. And that was against Southampton, right? So you're looking for who's going to be the difference maker, the Ibrahimovic brace, right? That's the type of performance we need. We need the Marcus Rashford brace. We need someone to come out and like show up in a final. Like I love Bruno Fernandes. These semifinals and finals, MIA to date. Literally, that's the only criticism I got from him. We're looking for these players to show up big in these finals, and That's what it's going to take because arguably against a worse team, it was nervy if you don't remember. So to win a cup, it's always going to be nervy. Newcastle is a really good side, and we're going to need our best players to show up. You're going to need Casemiro to play lights out. You're going to need Rashford to play lights out. I mean, you're going to need everyone on it. You're going to need De Gea sharp. So it's never easy to win at Wembley. So
100%.
I don't think
it's going to be a great final. It's going to be a great final. I think we're a much better side than we were that year if you look at the players in the squad. But your points are taken, sir.
I don't know about that.
No,
I
you
don't know
weren't,
about
bro.
that.
Rojo, what, are you kidding me? Varane, Martinez is a much better team. It is. Obviously we're playing a better team than Southampton or the other team.
So you're comparing 16, 17, winning the EFL Cup and then winning Europa League. This team ain't good. I'm just confused by that.
I didn't say that. Those words come out of my mouth. I said we have a better squad now, which we do. I'll take that to the mat all day, bro. Casemiro. Oh, what was our midfield? Paul Pogba,
Mata, Herrera. That's not a bad midfield.
No, but that's not as good as Bruno, Casemiro, and even Fred, bro. Casemiro is better than any midfielder we had at that point.
No, but this team. What I'm saying is that. Yes, I do. In some abstract comparison that you're making, yes, you could say that we have a better team. But what I will say is that Ibrahimovic is a winner. Bailly had the edge to win. Smalling had won. We had people who knew how to win and knew how to show up in big games. And Paul Pogba, for all the slack we give him, when he played for cups, he played in big games. He did show up for Manchester United. It's just he didn't show up every day, a lot of the times. And the question I have to say, to Ty's point, is who's going to show up in this cup final? I don't know. Before this, you could say, yeah, Ibrahimovic, he's the winner. He's going to show up. I don't know who's going to show up for Manchester United. I hope it's Marcus Rashford. I hope it's Bruno Fernandes. I just haven't seen it. And a lot of these players have been a part of those semifinal teams, and they were a part of Villarreal as well. So, we have lacked that killer instinct in finals for whatever reason.
Well, we got two guys that won 5 Champions League titles each. So they're used to a final, and neither of them were in those sides. Neither of them were in the Villarreal side. So Varane, Casemiro, world-class players.
Yeah.
That helps.
Could be the difference.
That will help.
Yeah, no, that will help. I'm just saying a lot of these players have been around for Wet Noodle Final FC.
We're a better team, and we're playing a better team. So I think, by and large, we're cutting to the same conclusion. It's I do think. I mean, you might think differently. Ibra is a hell of a player.
We have to win. We have to win. The problem with this whole final setup is any United fan knows. We have to win. This is if you saw Arsenal go in to play Newcastle and they couldn't get the job done, you'd be laughing, right? It's Manchester United versus Newcastle. I mean, give me a break. We should be winning this game. The problem is we've underperformed in semifinals and finals over the last 5 seasons. Now we're in the 6th season. And is it become a habit? Is it a blip on the radar? Who knows? But this is an opportunity, and there's going to be pressure on these players because a lot of them have been a part of that 5-year drought. Next bit of news, next question here, at Mike Magalis, quote, very interested to see if Sancho at 10 and Bruno on the wing. Is this something we might see more beyond today? I thought Bruno looked very dangerous out wide. What do you make of Sancho at 10, Bruno on the wing?
I mean, I just think this shows the creativity and flexibility of our manager, who likes to mix it up, right? He even played Lindelof as CDM. We only have... Okay, Sabitzer could play 10, but without Eriksen, you basically have one fit out-and-out 10, and that's Bruno Fernandes. He's been playing every freaking game. Manchester United has played more games than any other team in England to date, even more than City, and he's going to need a rest. So I think I like to see that. We have some wingers. We have options available because you have Rashford, you have Garnacho, you have Sancho, you have Anthony, and then you also have Alanga and you have Facundo. So the idea of using one to be a slot in as a makeshift number 10, I like to see it. He's not going to be your default, but if Bruno needs a blow or Bruno picks up a yellow card, too many yellow cards, and misses a match, it's it shows that you have options and the player, the manager's thinking creatively, which you love to see.
At Yoni Boy _ come on, sirs. Finally, some silverware again after the Mourinho era. I know we were just discussing the drought. It's been brutal. At Love the Bulls 18, quote, I was watching this game on my way to a meeting before halftime. When I got out of the meeting, I saw they won, made my day. Now I'm off 2 days. Good stuff, lads. On to Wembley. Sir, I'm nervous.
I know. I can tell. I can tell. You're shaking your boots over there.
No, it's the pressure. There's pressure on this. You don't think that these players feel it?
But
this
is a good Newcastle side, bro. This is not like Mike Ashley Newcastle. This is Bonesaw FC.
Okay, I'll tell you
they have the
you
best.
Better not come on the pod after this. After if we bottle it, you can't be coming on to excuse factory this why we can't beat Newcastle in the EFL Cup.
I'm not making it.
No
I'm
way.
just trying to provide a little bit of a balance that we have to beat them. Yeah, I agree. We should be beating them, but it's also the nature in which you win or lose. So what if we lost in a heartbreaking game, got some bad calls?
You play to win.
Yeah, okay, very good. Use more shelf quotes. I'm just saying is we'll see what happens. I know we're going to win that fucking game. We have more dogs. We have a better manager. It's a better opponent than the Newcastle that we've seen probably since the 90s, but we're going to win. And I do agree. It's Rashford, he hasn't won shit since Jose was the manager. Obviously, we know how things went under Bruno. He's now the man. He's captain, effectively. I think he wore the captain band even when Maguire came on the field today. So there really is a change of the guard. But I get it, sir. I also understand that your concern is there are bluffers still that have had a good season that need to prove it by winning silverware against a team that you have to be beaten.
Yeah, and you got to kill the bad juju from Villarreal. That's real bad juju. That's bad. That is
beyond just us.
That is very bad juju. Those players were on the field. That was bad. It's they got to get rid of that. And as soon as you win, it's all. And I actually think if you think of the setup, if we are able to win this FA Cup, Europa League, pushing on, this is the confidence this team needs. This is the boost that the manager needs. You look at a new owner coming in, it's going to be giving him more confidence back, Erik ten Hag. So it's a huge trophy for United. Carabao Cup. Never thought it'd be this important to a club. Never thought we'd be this thirsty for the Carabao Cup, but here we are. Look, that's it. That's the podcast. If you like the America Red Devils, for fans, by fans, support us on Patreon, patreon.com/America Red Devils. Website, americadevils.com. Check out our store, americadevils.store. Pick up our 65th anniversary Munich air disaster scarf while it's still available. Munich, the anniversary coming up. We're going to be remembering it over the weekend and into next week. Sir, give them the top 10 cities last 7 days.
Number 1, how you doing? New York, London, England, Los Angeles, California, Chicago, Illinois, San Francisco, California, Washington, D.C., Oslo, Norway, Manchester, England, Denver, Colorado, and last but not least, Melbourne, Australia. Appreciate all the America Devils listening week in, week out. We couldn't do it without you. Big cup final at the end of the month. Newcastle. It's going to be a big match. Cannot wait, sir. Cannot wait.
Let's go. What song you got for us?
You know it. We're the famous Man United, and we're headed to Wembley. Enjoy it. Enjoy your week. Big match on Saturday against Palace. Let's go, boys.
We're going to Wembley! Wembley!